I've been sitting out here. I was just chilling. I was literally just drinking tea, just closing my eyes, thinking. And a journal. I have a stack of journals in my closet. There's probably like 15, almost 20 of them, if I had to think. And they're just all filled to the fucking gills with thoughts and ideas and poetry and songs and videos and just whatever. Manifestations, spells, everything. And it opened up to a specific page that I thought was interesting because it was dated on like 11/20/24, so 11 months ago now. And it was talking about how I felt then that like I had regressed, like back to the man that I used to be, you know, versus who I was then in that moment. And I was writing about how I had felt myself slip away. And I recently, literally like yesterday, 2 days ago, wrote about the same thing, about how it felt like the coming and leaving of the tides being pulled by the moon. And I started feeling this way leading up to the blood moon. And after the blood moon, that's when I really felt like, damn, like I just feel like I'm the old me. You know, like I don't feel like this new me that like I've learned and found and discovered this year. You know, through being on my own and just, I don't know, getting medicated and feeling happy and healthy. Like I just feel like I've slipped back mentally in some ways, you know. Not necessarily, you know, like oh, like I suck again, like I'm a piece of shit again. Like, no, like I'm not a piece of shit. But just like mentally, my head goes to places, into like insecurities and thoughts and ways of like seeing and viewing the world and myself, more specifically, like how I used to. And it's weird because it almost feels like I'm being karmically retested. And it feels like when I look back on my writings, you know, from journals from previous years, it feels like the same points of every year I have the same feelings, I have the same emotions, I go through the same, not only emotions, but motions, you know. My life and my brain feel like the tides, you know, it feels like there's a push and pull, you know, with the stars or the universe or, you know, the collective unconsciousness, no matter what it is. But like, around the same time of every year, I want to play the same video games, you know, like every December, I do a Dark Souls 3 playthrough, every fucking December, and I've done that shit since like 2017, 2018, like whenever the fuck that shit came out. And every October, I want to play through Amnesia and Outlast, just every year. I know those are like dumb examples, but every year, around, you know, like September, October, November, you know, like during these months, I feel a regression, but it's towards transformation because I spend the whole year fighting constantly to transform and better myself and work harder and, you know, like learn more about myself, whatever. And every year around this time, it feels like there's just a setback. And why that is, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just being karmically retested. You know, maybe I failed every time. Maybe I failed every fucking year when I've been retested on how to pass. But I don't know how to pass this test. I don't. I really don't. And I read what I wrote, the poetry I wrote, like, this time last year. And I remember what I wrote just a few days ago. And maybe the answer is to not try and fight it. Because I'm always trying to fight my mind. I'm always trying to fight, like, every thought that I have. And I'm questioning it. And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? And, like, there's just so many, like, weird, random thoughts that just pop into my fucking head. And I know it's because I'm OCD. Like, I know I don't necessarily have control over it. And I'm also just very high anxiety. But I don't know. That shit just fucking sucks. But I used to, years ago, you know, every time that I would smoke weed, or like I would just get high in general, I would have panic attacks. Like I would freak out. And it's because weed brings, like whatever it is that like you need to wrestle with inside of yourself, it brings it forwards. It makes it so you have to address it. It forces you to address it. It makes it so you can't hide or run from it. It brings it forward. And something else about weed that I learned as to why it is that I would panic is because when it would bring those things deep within myself forwards, I was forced to address them when I didn't want to. I didn't feel ready. I wasn't able to. Because there's so much that I just repressed and I wouldn't face. But weed brought it forward and it forced me to face it. Another thing about weed is the reason why people freak out when they're high is because they haven't learned to let go of control. They haven't learned to just sit back and realize, like, oh fuck, like, I am altering my state of consciousness. If I normally am interfacing with reality like this when I'm sober, when I'm high, I'm interfacing with reality like this. But if you're trying to fight, the high, and you're trying to not interface like this, but to like try and stay here, you're not going to be able to do that, and you're going to freak out. You can't. You have to allow it to grip you. You have to allow it to show you what it is that you have to be shown. And so, what I'm now realizing is that when I'm sober, I'm constantly fighting reality. And I'm constantly fighting the way that I'm interfacing with it, and the way that my mind is perceiving and intaking information, and what it is that it's presenting, through the subconscious into my conscious mind. And so I think that maybe I just need to take that lesson that I learned so many years ago with weed and apply it to being fucking sober and interfacing with reality in a sober way. Maybe I just need to let the thoughts flow. Maybe I need to not question them. Maybe I need to not fight them. Maybe I need to not try and remain in control of my thoughts, my mind, everything. Maybe I just need to let it flow and just simply acknowledge them, and just like not get caught up and hyperfixate and spiral on everything. I don't know, because maybe that's only happening because I panic. Maybe that's only happening because I'm trying to fight that feeling of hyperfixation and OCD and anxiety. And maybe that's, it's kind of like a snake eating its own tail. I don't know. But something else that I thought about while I was out here that I realized, because like I'm 24. I'm going to be 25 in 2 months. I'm an artist, and genuinely, for the first time in years, like since I was, 13 maybe, like I'm doing art. Like actually doing art. Not for money, not for fame, not for attention. I'm just doing art. And I'm just doing what the fuck I love, and I don't care if anyone sees it. Whether that's the ghost hunting videos, or whether that's my drawings, or whether that's my photography, or whether that's my videography for like music videos and shit, whether that's the music I'm making, I'm just doing art. And I got back into skateboarding too, but the point is, when I was a child, I would cry very often about how I believed that I would be homeless when I grew up. That I'd be living on the street, and I wouldn't have a home, and I wouldn't be successful. When I was a child in like elementary school, I would like have full-blown fucking meltdowns, like panic attacks about this. And I think it's because what I'm realizing now is that when I was a child, I knew that this system wasn't right, that it didn't make sense, and it especially didn't make sense for me, and that I just never fit into it. And it's weird that I knew that by the time I was in like 2nd, 3rd grade, I was like, fuck, dude. like, I'm never gonna make it here. I'm never gonna last. And it's interesting that it took me until I was fucking 24, sitting out here, just listening to the fucking rain, to realize that. I don't know. I just don't think I was meant for this. Not even think, I know. I was never meant for this. I was not made to fucking go to school, get a job, have kids, get married, and fucking die. That's just not what I was made for. That's not what I'm gonna do. I know I was made for more. I worked the corporate job. I did sales for like 2 years. And it was the worst fucking 2 years of my life. It was awful. It was so fucking awful. Like, I stopped making videos. Like, I didn't have any time or thoughts to myself. Like, literally all I did was wake up in the morning, work for 10 fucking hours, come home, get fucking pissed drunk and high, play fucking video games, and then pass out. And like, that's all I fucking did. It stole my fucking soul. It stole me away from being me. It was the absolute worst fucking version of myself. It was. And I was manic as shit. And depressed as shit. Manic depressive. Being bipolar is a fucking bitch. But, yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that I've known all this shit since I was a child. But it's taken me until now to like actually realize it. And I'm finally happy for the first time in my life. For the first time in my life, I'm not suicidal. For the first time in my life, I don't want to burn every fucking bridge that I've ever walked across. For the first time in my life, I feel like I have a home. Like I have places and people where I belong. And people that understand me. People that don't look at me and just don't get it. My best friend of 8 years, unfortunately, we don't talk anymore. And it's because, one, we just have very different opinions, you know, socially. In terms of, you know, like, I'm very fucking liberal. Like, I am. And I always have been, but I've just never been able to, like, actually express that because I've been surrounded by fucking conservative dickwads. Fucking hate conservatives. You know what I really hate? Racist, sexist, homophobic, fucking pieces of shit. I'm getting off topic. Point is, my best friend of like 8, almost 9 years, we don't talk anymore. And it's for social differences, of course, but also, I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting into this. I just don't think he ever got it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't expect anyone to fucking get it. I don't get it. I never thought that I would grow up to be fucking 24, almost 25, and just be fucking skating and making music and laying pipe and bartending. Like, I didn't have that envisioned for myself. Like, I don't know, I envisioned that, like, I would be an artist, you know, but that, like, I would have a job and I'd be making money and, you know, like, I'd have a house and, like, I'd probably be married and, like, have kids and shit. But, like, the world's just so different that, like, when I was a kid, all that shit just seems so far out of reach now. Just none of it makes sense. Like, I have the degree against all odds. I was on the dean's list every fucking semester, quarter semester for the last 2 years. I've been on it every fucking quarter. Like, I graduated with, I think, like a 3.940. It would have been a 4.0, but whatever, who gives a shit? Like, I'm smart as fuck. But I think I'm almost too smart. Because I see through too much bullshit. And I feel too much. I feel way too much. My brain is constantly fucking overloaded. Like, none of this shit ever makes sense. I just don't get it. I feel so lost, so aimless, so directionless. But at the same time, I know exactly where the fuck I need to be. And it's right where the fuck I am, right now. I know I need to be skateboarding. I know I need to be fucking doing art. I know I need to be ghost hunting. I know I need to be making music. I know I need to drop love letters and suicide notes on the fucking 31st of October, Halloween. Like, I know I need to do those things, and I'm doing all those things. And I'm happy. For the first time in my life, I'm fucking happy. It's just not what anyone wants from me. It's just not what anyone expected from me. And that fucking sucks. And I don't think literally anyone in my family would understand. They would think that I'm fucking crazy, though. They literally think I'm insane. But I believe in myself. And I believe that I can do it. And it's unfortunate because I don't believe that they would support me. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna. It was already written. And I've already done it all 1,000 times before. So I'll do it again. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck billionaires. Fuck society. Everyone's gay.